Hello, everybody. Mike Rollins here again for another of my interviews with candidates for the chair of the Texas Democratic Party, filling the position being vacated by Gilberto
Yeah,
Hinojosa as of the end of the month.
Mhm.
So with me today is Meri Gomez. Say hi, Mary.
Hi, everyone.
So I'm going to have to apologize a little bit today. Pollen in North Texas is like up around 11.2 out of 12. It's windy. I have a sinus infection, it feels like, on top of the allergies, as well as dealing with a toothache that's a hangover from some work I had done last week. So
Mm,
I am not on the top of my game today. I apologize to everybody, and we'll see if we can power through this.
That's what
Uh,
us Democrats do. We always power through it, guys, regardless.
yeah. So, as I've said on the other interviews, this whole exercise right now of electing a new chair feels just a little bit surreal
Yeah,
in contrast to the craziness and the outrageous things that are happening in Washington and even in Austin with the legislative session. Uh,
right.
Now, in addition to the vouchers, there's a usual crop of just completely stupid bills. Like there was one that Abbott was promoting, outlawing some kind of furry culture in schools. I didn't even know it was a thing. It has to do with kids playing animal roles, dressing up like mice and cats. And I'm like, what? Why are we even wasting time on this?
They
Anyway,
love culture wars.
so in the midst of all of that, the chair's race does fill an important, excuse me, little slice of what all is going on here.
Yes,
And that's indicated, I think, by the great interest that a lot of our grassroots Democrats have had on this. So,
yes.
glad to have Meri with us today. Meri is probably best known for being a candidate for the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate in 2024. She also currently serves, as of the convention last summer, on the State Democratic Executive Committee, representing the 20th Congressional District. Professionally, as
Actually,
far as
it's for environmental Democrats for the whole state of.
environmental Democrats. Okay, I thought that was the case.
And it's funny because they say it's poetic justice that an environmentalist is rising up in the area that Elon Musk is starting to destroy.
Yeah, well, there's so much that he is destroying that
Yes.
it's not very particular. She's also a small business owner running a tax service and an events center, and she is from Mission, Texas, down in the valley. So, welcome today, Meri. Glad
Thank
you
you,
could
Mike.
join me.
Happy to be
So,
here.
I've asked some of the other candidates, generally, how would you approach being chair? What do you think the big problems are in the state party? And how would you use your power and influence as state chair to address them?
I think one of the issues with the Democratic Party is that we need to start recruiting and supporting candidates all over the state of Texas who have a dream to serve and to be a part of something big. As a US Senate candidate, I did find myself alone in a big pond. And so I want to pave the way for the future candidates and set up a legacy that is going to be unforgettable.
Mm. I
Hmm.
think a lot of the candidates I've talked to and listened to on the forums all kind of seem to have agreement on many of the general points about
Yes.
what needs to happen in the party. I mean, including candidate recruitment, but for example, also fundraising and supporting our smaller counties. Uh, what do you think you offer as a chair candidate that differentiates you from what other people offer?
Well, one, I think I am the future of the Democratic Party as a Latina, as a Latina. And everybody keeps talking about how the Latino vote is what flipped um, or what supported Trump. But now I think we're in a out of the honeymoon phase,
Mm.
and the Latinos are waking up to see that it isn't what they thought it would be. And so I kind of knew that would happen. So I wanted to take the bull by the horn and just get in there and be ready to keep, building on the momentum of the Latinos that are not satisfied with what is going on with the government today. So my experience, I am a people person. I've been a captain of the track team. I have been a president of a business fraternity. I am a people person. I get along with a lot of people, as long as they're not, judgmental or bringing their judgments in. A lot of people find out, hey, Medi, you're a really nice person. I am a leader, natural born leader. But I'm also coachable, right? And one working under my dad for a long time was a blessing, but there was a lot of things that I couldn't do as the head. So I'm ready to take the leader position.
Mm.
What do I bring? I am a good worker. I work every day, 7 days a week, and I have a very strong work ethic. You think that Trump has a strong ethic? Wait, so you mean a Latina woman, right? And
Uh,
so I grew up in a small business, and my dad, we had a owner finance, so we literally had our own bank, and so I
mm,
would help my
okay.
dad collect the payments. And I just got off a meeting with the TDP staff, and they were saying that the chair position is a position that should be collecting monies for
Mm.
donations, that is
Sure.
networking with other people. And as the manager for the furniture store, what I would do is, new customers would come in. I had to earn their business.
Hmm.
Aside from political affiliation, I think that the fact that I already know some of the people that I'm talking to are affiliated with me in some way is going to make it easier, because in business you don't know what people are, who they say they are, what they say they want to do. You have to kind of like earn their trust. You have to
Right.
earn their business. And so I've been doing that all my life. When I first started my tax practice, my friend Ben Cantu helped me out, and he got me the software. But at the end of the day, the legwork had to be me. Now I have a tax practice that is too big for me to handle. I have to tell people no. You come to my office. I don't have a sign outside. The doors are locked. So I really hope I can bring that to the Democratic Party, where we're going to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, we want your money, but get in line. And so I hope I can bring that same energy to the Democratic Party.
Okay. So
Mhm.
you mentioned fundraising. Tell me about your experience with raising money. Like you said,
Well,
that's a big part of the chair's job.
so I have a couple different experiences with fundraising. Let me talk about
Mhm.
some of the first stuff that I did. I was the president of Alpha Kappa Psi,
Mm.
as being part of the Greek Council. We would always, network with all the other Greeks. And there was this one Greek fraternity. It was all
So
boys fraternity,
where did you go to school?
UTRGV, which was
Okay.
UTPA at the time.
Okay.
And so this Greek fraternity, they were going to repo their house. They were going to shut the chapter down. They were behind in their dues. So there's this one local comedian which I helped get a start on, and he can tell you that his name is Raymond Horta. And we threw a party, and we were able to fundraise so much money that night that they had enough to pay the house for the year.
Right.
So that was one thing where I can just, throw a party real quick. And now, how much it was, I don't know, but I can get you in touch with Louis Ortega, who was the president of the Phi Sigma Kappas at the time.
Mhm.
He is still a friend of mine. He was actually a classmate of mine. And he's ready to answer any questions because I warned him. I was like, hey, dude, I'm running for this position and I'm talking about that party. So a lot of things happened because of that party. We ended up having a nationally famous comedian who we were able to, some of that money that we fundraised, we helped him pay his dues. And then uh, I ended up getting involved with the National Hispanic Professional Organization. I was one of the founding members, which it now is still one of the nicest networking organizations where City Councilman Pepe Cabeza de Vaca is the president of National Hispanic Professional Organization. So we would fundraise, we throw parties, mixers. So I love throwing mixers. Me personally though, when I became a mom, I kind of like got away from drinking and socializing. So I just kind of walked away from that organization. Then I started getting involved with the Democratic Party in 2014. By 2021, I was appointed to the board. And with
So
that
you're
board,
appointed for which county or what?
Hidalgo County
Okay.
Democratic Party Executive Committee.
Okay, so you were precinct
Mhm.
chair.
No, I wasn't a precinct chair.
You were not a
I,
precinct chair.
no, I was
Okay.
hand selected as a local activist.
Okay.
And so,
They must have a different structure there.
well, the precinct chair, yeah, we did have a different structure. We had precinct chair, the board was a mix of precinct chairs and community activists.
Okay.
And so, I did run for precinct chair,
Hmm.
but unfortunately, I lost by like 15 votes. And then the girl that I ran against, it's a long story. That was, she was involved in the last case that Gilberto was literally suing for JP race. It's
Hmm.
in the news.
Interesting.
Anyway, yes, it was a
Politics.
yeah, Gilberto Hinojosa was a lawyer for Raymond Segovia for Justice of the Peace, but they were ballot harvesting. And well, unfortunately, one of the precinct chairs that was there, she was involved. But that's neither here nor there because, of course I'm getting out of the valley. I'm realizing that you know, I I am who I think I am. Like, I'm involved. I know my politics. I know my business. I know tax law, and I'm getting a lot of confirmation from other Democrats. But I wasn't able to be involved in this last election cycle. But when I was part of the board, we had big dances where we fundraised a lot of money. I was in charge of going and collecting the checks from candidates, from business owners, from uh, Democrats in Hidalgo County, and we were pretty successful. Actually, we were so successful, I think that we were recognized at the state level as one of the best boards in the state of Texas. And I posted an award for that on my Facebook, Mike. Um, but we fundraised about $500,000 for the dance, and we had a couple of events. We had a lot of Biden trains. I never really was a like asking for money. I'm more like someone that had given money to the Democratic Party. So I'm more of a donor than I am a fundraiser.
Okay.
But
Yeah, fair enough.
mhm. But when it came to the activism, yeah, I was ready to go, ready to rile up the activists, ready to inspire people, ready to organize. And so, yeah, one of the things that I organized was the Biden train. That was in, when was that? I want to say in probably 2021. Yeah. So, no, 2020. Sorry, it was 2020 when Biden won. So, I'm proud of that. It was very successful, and I have some videos on my Facebook about that event as well.
Again, was that a bus tour that they did?
No, no, it was a Biden train, like just like it was like a caravan.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, you know
Okay.
how like we're doing caravans. So
Yeah.
we were the first caravan in South Texas because they were doing a bunch of Trump trains, but
Ah, okay.
They
Right.
had a lot of like the community didn't like it because they were stopping a lot of traffic.
Right.
It was a little bit of a nuisance, right? So I am good friends with the police chief and the mayor and everybody here in my community. And so I asked for some special, special treatment. And we paid to the city, and we had one of the most organized caravans in South Texas that was very successful.
Cool.
Hmm.
So you talked a little bit about your involvement with your local
Community. Yeah.
Democrats. Um, so you're probably aware the state chair is a multifaceted role, aside from the fundraising aspects. It's you're leading the state Democratic Executive Committee, which, as you know, can be a sometimes somewhat contentious group of people, all
Yes.
wanting very much to make Democrats win, but we all have different ideas of how to go about it. So, 150-ish members, as well as, most chairs have not really taken a hands-on approach to day-to-day operations. They leave that to staff, but still,
Oh, I
it's usually,
will.
yeah,
I
it's usually the job of the chair to um, oversee the senior staff at least and make sure they're doing everything. So, what can you tell me about prior experience you've had running a large organization? Some volunteer, some professional.
Mhm. Well, of course, with the Democratic Party, I was involved with making sure that we had election judges and
Mhm.
election workers for the whole entire county. That was a feat in and of itself because, a lot of people don't want to work for 12, $14 an hour.
Yeah,
And
when I was county chair, we went through that every cycle for the
right,
primary and for the
right.
general.
So,
It's
but
yeah, and
I worked.
you're constantly playing whack-a-mole too when you have somebody lined up and then they back out because, oh, I'm going on vacation or I have a dental appointment.
Whatever, yeah. So, one of the things as chair, I want to make sure that of course, our election judges, they do know the importance of their job, but I want to make sure that we have some kind of contract with these workers for year round. And also with the GOP and with the Democratic Party, so that way we can make sure that we have as many election polling sites open as possible. Also, let's start from high school. I was a team captain of the track team. I had to make sure that we had all our equipment, that the girls were present, that they were at their locations at the right time, um, of course, there to console for any losses, to cheer for them when they won, um, you know, to collaborate with the coaches to make sure that we were reaching our overall goals. So my team was pretty much the district champions for our district since junior high.
Mhm.
So seventh grade and eighth grade, we were district champions, and then I was in varsity since freshman year. So I was varsity freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, and it was a constant responsibility. I had to be at school from 5:30 in the morning to 6:30 in the evening, and I made sure that I was staying positive, eating healthy. When it came to the college at the university. Um, the first university I went to in St. Charles, I had gotten a track scholarship, and I was my senior year of high school. I wanted to start powerlifting, but nobody was powerlifting at that time. It was new to the world. I had heard about it, but by the time we got the ball rolling, I didn't have anybody to compete against, number one. And nobody was really doing it. There were a couple of guys that were powerlifting, but it really wasn't that. So I like to get things started, right? So then when I moved into college, I was already in that powerlifting mindset. Well, they ended up making me the manager of the most beautiful indoor gymnasium that I had ever scene with an indoor track and everything. So I manage, and I have an award for that. I was reminiscing on that. I have an award for being a top, what is it, like a student worker.
Hmm.
Um, then I ended up coming back to the Valley, to the RGV, and I went to Pan Am, and I got into Alpha Kappa Psi, which is
Hmm.
a co-ed business fraternity. I
Okay.
was the treasurer, and oh, I'm sorry, I was also the treasurer in St. Louis for the Sigma Alpha Iota, which is a music fraternity with
Oh,
like
okay.
Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston, Sigma Alpha Iotas. With Alpha Kappa Psi, I was a treasurer. Then I eventually, after the fraternity party, they ended up making me the president. So
Ah, okay.
I was the president in Alpha Kappa Psi. We fundraised, we paid our dues, we socialized, we had tailgate parties. So organizing is like not a problem for me, not a problem. Like that's going to be the least of our worries. But of course, fundraising and making sure that we can bring money in. That was one thing, is making sure that the students paid their dues, and I had to collect and you of course check with nationals to make sure that we were current. Then when it's in reference to organizing, Mike. I'm sorry, I spaced out real quick.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Leadership.
So
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, so what else? Right. So I managed the chapter. My best friend was murdered in
Oh my.
2006. Uh-huh. So I ended up just dropping out of school at that time.
Hmm.
But then when I came back, but I didn't get involved in any organizations. It was one of the biggest mass shootings in McAllen at the time.
Right.
That's a whole nother subject.
Okay.
That's why gun reform is really personal to
Hmm.
me. It was a horrible, senseless tragedy. So then, so when when I went back to school, I didn't really do any organizations. I just kind of just focused on myself and my kids. But then I started getting involved with the Democratic Party. And
Hmm.
I mean, I wasn't even a precinct chair. I wasn't even, a candidate, elected official. And here I am, they're putting me on the board. And I was surprised. I was like, wow, like they really like me. Like they see something in me that I probably don't see myself. So, with the board, but I would go to the meetings, I would attend, but of course, my access to certain things was limited. I had been wanting to be the treasurer of the Hidalgo County Democratic Party for a really long time, but unfortunately, Kenna Griffin and one of the SDEC members is the treasurer right now.
Hmm.
So I've been trying to work with her, but she just doesn't seem to really care. And so she is inspiring me to be a better person because they have not submitted any treasury reports to the precinct chairs since 2022.
Not good.
Okay. Not good at all. So I always take, when people throw lemons at me, I'll always make lemonade.
Right.
And so as a leader, I promise you, I'm always gonna have a little sugar I can throw in there, and we're gonna make it really good. But you know, um, the leadership, I don't know why they haven't given me that opportunity, but um, I'm ready to be that leader. And I just got out at a meeting with the TDP staff, and they were just like, Meri, that's what we need. We need someone who's going to be collecting the donations, going out there, meeting other candidates. And I, as a candidate, like precinct chair candidacy was a really good insight.
Hmm.
I was getting the voter rolls on a daily basis. I have a friend, Leslie Gower, who has been a political activist for over 40, 50 years. I think she was an SDEC member many years ago. But Leslie is a political consultant. She gets hired by, I think Roland had hired her. And Leslie has taught me very well, like what to look for, the three of threes, turfs.
Hmm.
Of course, being involved with the state party. So I have had a lot of guidance, and not just that, like my best friend Sergio Munoz, who's a state representative
Mhm.
for District 36, his dad was also a state representative. I mean, I grew up with them, and
Oh,
my dad and his dad were business friends. Our offices were right next door to each other, right here on Conway, and the leadership in them has just been instilled in me.
mhm,
And they were successful. Let me tell you how successful Mr. Munoz was. Like their business was audited, and out of 5,500 home healths in the state of Texas,
mhm,
370 of them were audited. Of those
mhm,
370, 74 had gone to this one attorney. Of those 74 clients that were with this one attorney, only four stayed open
ooh,
because they basically like held on to the money while they were being checked out, right? For fraud, whatever.
right. Mhm, mhm,
Of those four home healths, only one beat the audit.
mhm.
And let me just tell you, I was there when he received the check for the interest.
Okay,
Right. And so that it broke my heart that Texas is paying that much interest because of, foolishness. I think Sergio Munoz Jr. right now is introducing a bill that will prevent that kind of spoilage because Texas should not be paying interest on business to business transactions.
right,
So Sergio is doing a wonderful thing by trying to reduce fraud.
right.
And that's what I want to do as well. And so I've
Okay,
always had that leadership around me. Mhm,
okay. So, most of the candidates running for this position have
mhm,
worked with a lot of candidates for general election.
mhm,
Uh, I think a fewer number of them have actually been candidates for any of our
mhm.
nominations. So, what did you pick up from your experience running for our nomination for Senate?
The lack of leadership,
Okay.
the lack of leadership. There's no organization. Barely now we have a Texas County Party Chairs Association.
Hmm.
That didn't exist when Larry Davis came in. He had no guidance, and then so imagine, Mike, I'm traveling all over the state of Texas trying to meet people, meeting with county party chairs, and they're asking, what is the state up to? I'm like, I don't know. I just gave them $5,000 and I didn't get nothing back, not even an email. Hey, we just had a candidate file for US Senate. Go to this page to support Medi. I had no support. And that was terrible to me. It's like, why are you trying to push people away? Because the GOP, they're giving out the van for free, right?
Right.
I had to pay $25,000 for my van, which of course I couldn't afford because
Hmm.
as a unexperienced underdog, a lot of people don't want to donate to you.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And it's not tax deductible. I mean, the majority,
So,
Dr. James Moore, who is a computer scientist engineer, she donated to my campaign. Beto Vela, Mission City Councilman, who has ran unopposed twice, donated
mhm,
to my campaign. Um, I had friends from childhood that donated to my campaign. So it really was grassroots. But
mhm,
the I even emailed Act Blue because I compared my Act Blue page to Colin's Act Blue page. I
mhm,
emailed Act Blue and I said, why does Colin's homepage have a picture and mine doesn't? Does it like, do we need to pay for that? Is there that an extra fee? Do I need to fill out an application? What do I need to do to get the same treatment as Colin? And nobody ever responded.
hmm,
And so it's like, if nobody's going to do it, I want to do it.
right.
Really, I do. I do. And I think that all the other candidates are wonderful. Lily's, awesome and experienced. And Patsy, she has some experience. But, I personally have a different point of view. I'm not going to be business as usual. It's not.
Hmm.
And
Right.
so that's gonna make me stand out for sure.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, you know, the state chair, I think in my experience is people have too high expectations on party officials. I'll put it that way.
Yes.
To be the public face of the party. I mean, for to be brutally
I'm
honest
saying
about
hi
it.
to
I
I'm
mean, to
saying,
be
Mike, this is my dad,
oh, hi,
Mr. Gomez.
Hello.
This is Mike
hello,
Robbins.
nice to
How are
meet
you?
you.
Mike, where are you located at, Mike?
I'm in Richardson. It's just north of Dallas.
Yeah, Richardson, Texas.
Yeah,
We're doing an interview.
Okay. Well, nice to meet you, sir.
nice to meet you.
Bye.
Yeah, so as I was saying, the the people who I think the media and the public pay more attention to as far as being the spokespersons for the party are office holders and candidates. And the state chair and county chairs too are at least supposed to represent the party structure to activists, but generally don't have as much opportunity to say perhaps address issues that may be important to the state or the nation or even the localities. But that's not to say that they don't have a platform to work with. So you represent the Texas Environmental Democrats on the SDEC. As a small business owner, you're also interested in supporting small businesses, which happens to be a focus of my colleague in CD 32, Annette Krause, who is with the Small Business Caucus, and also with your work with taxes, tax reform. So, what would you like to say about any of those particular topics in the context of your role as state party chair should you get elected?
So, like I say, I bring a huge of a difference of perspective. I was talking to the Small Business Caucus and I was telling them, they're like, what's your dream business? I go, my dream business is that I'm working here and I can see that my kids are right next to me. Like
Mm-hmm.
where I literally have like I'm at an office, but the corporation still provides certain fringe benefits that will cover, my happiness, my well-being, and not just my well-being, the well-being of the children. There is no benefits with the state of Texas to help corporations integrate single mothers, right, or single fathers for maternity, for mother and father, for maybe college saving plans for the children, of the workers of these corporations. So, I really have a different perspective. Like I tell people, whatever you think that business is, throw it out the window because it's whatever you want it to be. It's like Play-Doh, you mold it to whatever you want to be, you mix it with whatever you want to do. There is no cookie cutter to small business. There
Mm-hmm.
isn't. And I want people to know that their dreams are just as possible as or if even if it sounds crazy to their friends and families, they need to know that people will only see things based off of their own perspective. And
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurs we're wild and crazy people sometimes. Like yeah,
You have to be.
we have to be. And we think of these, I like when I tell people, oh, for example, let me use my one of my business associates, right? So I go to college, I take a class in individual taxation. My professor is amazing. She loves the tax code as much as I do. Like the way we talk about it, where we're just like add this, minus this, if not this, not that. So we get along right away. But the difference between me and her is she works for a billionaire here in South Texas and I don't,
Okay.
right? So she's also professor and she's also the CFO for a local billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be the only billionaire, but not anymore. Elon Musk showed up. But she would see me in public and she's like, I want what you have. You always have a smile on your face. You're always with your kids. Like, I want that. So I taught her how to do that. And now she does that. And I told her, like, you got to cut the umbilical cord with so and so. We did make him an offer that we thought he would refuse. But no, he took our offer, but we still decided not to accept him because of the toxic environment that it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I was able to take her, who did not have any guidance on how to start her own business or how to be her own boss, and now she's her own boss. She's got her own tax practice. She takes her kids with her to work. They have a playroom. So her office is like what I dreamed of. But me personally, I've always kind of kept it small because um, I think some people are really good at HR and I'm not.
Right,
And so people who are good at HR, they need to do what they do. And so um, I just kind of isolate myself to just focus on me and my clients and what I do and what I want. Because I've had
right.
some customers say, I've never been in a meeting where someone shows up with kids. And I'm like, is that a problem? And they'll be like, yeah, they're distracted. I'll get up and walk out. To me, money ain't nothing but a thing. Okay. And that's what I need people to understand. It's like I tell my dad, because my dad's a pastor, I go, I know they teach that Jesus teaches us to be fishers of men. But what happens if the fish just jump in the boat? You know? So
Most of us aren't that lucky.
well, we can be. It's just we gotta just believe in ourselves. Honestly, working for TurboTax as one of the top tax preparers in the nation, the majority of my phone calls
Mhm.
were just giving people reassurance.
Right.
And so that's what I want to do. And I think
Mhm.
that that's what us as Democrats, like, we're just like, oh my God, is the way I'm thinking right? Because that's the way I was before I busted out. And I started hanging out with more Democrats, right? Because I was surrounded by Republicans, right? And so
Mhm.
the way I thought was I was told it's wrong, it's evil, it's bad. And it's not. Like I remember when I first opened my office here in Conway, I would get to work at 12 o'clock in my pajamas, right? And the guy next door, he'd be like, Meri, you're showing up late again. And I'm like, yeah, Mr. Martinez, and he's just like, that's not good business. That's not good business. And so that kind of was like a little mustard seed of insecurity, right?
Mhm. Oh yeah.
But I just kept going along. Like I'm not gonna like I have this philosophy that you can't force thought and you can't force purpose.
Right.
Period. You
Mhm.
cannot. Like your thoughts are gonna come naturally, and the purpose of those thoughts are gonna come naturally. So I ignored what he said, kept doing what I had to do. I mean, did I have imposter syndrome? Hell yeah. But
I think a lot of people do.
I kept my eyes on God, right? I
Mhm.
kept my eyes on the prize. I kept my eye on my children. I ignore all the signs, right? And just walk forward. Sometimes we got to walk blindly, right? And
Mhm.
that's what I did with this chair race too. I felt that I want to be the nest that I needed, right? So if I can take a CFO for a billionaire and make her what she dreamed to be, which was me,
Mhm.
why can't I do that for other people? So
Fair enough.
yeah, so I'm just here to give all us Democrats a whole bucket of reassurance. And
Right.
that's
I
why
think that's a pretty fine purpose.
yeah. And so and that's why I tell like all my trans friends, all my LGBT, I'm just like, dude, you're here and you're not fucking going nowhere, dude. Like you and they're scared, they scared of persecution and they're scared of being injured, right?
Mhm.
But if we're scared, we're never gonna get nowhere.
Right.
So we gotta just live out loud and just do what
Yep.
we gotta do. So and let me just tell you, Democrats can do that, but I need to give them that reassurance. So I'm really excited about that.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, I think we're getting close to the end of the hour.
Okay, wow, already.
Any any particular things you would like to leave people with? That sounded like a good closure to me almost, but
Just,
anything else you'd like to cover before we do a wrap
you
here?
know, one thing that I found out, as the US Senate candidate, towards the end, I would go to postcard meetings. I would go to precinct chair meetings. I would go everywhere. And
Hmm.
everyone had so many ideas. And I think the reason why we cannot organize is because, Janie wants to do what she wants, and Mary wants to do what she wants. But I tell them, whatever you think you can do it. That
Right.
sounds like a great idea, you know? And so Mr. Munoz would always tell me, Meri, find your people, right?
Mhm.
So I'm gonna tell the precinct chairs, you know what you have is a great idea. Just find your people and get it done. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you the volunteer workers did better than the paid canvassers.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's on record, dude. That's on
Mhm.
record.
Yeah.
And I want to say that a lot of that was because of my reassurance.
Well,
So
there you go.
we'll end with that. Yeah.
Okay, well, hey, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate this chance to
Thank
sit
you,
down and
Mike.
talk with you a little more in depth than we've had a chance to at the forum. So
I
good
hope
luck
that
to
we're friends
you.
forever, Mike. Yeah. And you always have a friend in me here in South Texas. So if
Thank
you're
you.
gonna come to the island, come on down.
Okay.
Come to South
Likewise
Texas.
up here. So I'll
Yep.
see you in Austin at the end of the month. Take care.
Yes, we'll see you. Bye, Mike.
Thanks a lot.
Yes. Bye.